We at 30%.
We're almost there.
60.
Oh, we need this email, man. It's like spinning.
100%. I think we live.
All right.
Make this full screen. Yep. We at 30%. All right. What is going on, everybody? It's been a long time, but welcome back to Have More Than Money. Jared, it feels so good to be back. I know we got 8 people right here.
That it does, Mike. That's been way too long, bro.
Honestly.
Way too long.
Thing is, like, when we don't have these kind of conversations, like on the live, we really don't get to have. You know, we talk every day, you know, in a text, but like, you know, I don't get to break it up when we're not on live. So we gotta.
Well, we haven't called like each other in weeks. I mean, I know we spoke recently, but we haven't had like a real conversation in honestly like 2 or 3 weeks. So we definitely
we saving it for the lives. We're saving it for everybody.
Yeah. We try not to talk unless it's on camera anymore, right? But the truth is that's where we get the most value is when it's not on camera. So that's why we got to have those calls. we can't share all our secrets.
No, for sure. What do you want? You want to wait a little bit longer? We got 12 people on. I guess we can start. We can get going.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the live, you know, make your presence known. Write a message.
Yeah. Who's here? Who we got?
Who we got here?
Sports Mafia. What's up, Sports? I know he's always joining us. Vershawn, the one and only Sean, our killer. Nick Renner. I see. We already got some community members joining. I hope you guys got your questions ready. You know, anything. Hey, Abdallah, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you.
Vershawn, I heard you're killing it, bro. I saw your tweet earlier. Crazy.
You know how he does it.
Crazy stuff, bro.
See, Vershawn's not an excuse maker. He just gets after it, which I love.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth, guys. It's like you really can only be one of 2 people, someone who makes excuses or someone who, you know, gets results. So there's really one way to do it, or better yet, 2 ways. And I hope you make the right choice. So anyway, Mike, let's get into this.
Let's do it. So today we are going to be talking about how to get to $10,000 profit from your dropshipping store. I hope everyone knows by now we're not going to be talking about low ticket. We're pretty much going to outline the steps on how we did it and how you can do it too. So I guess, you know, I know there might be a couple of beginners here. I know a couple of my friends said they were going to join. So Jared, let's just start it off. What is dropshipping at its basic? What is dropshipping?
Yeah. So, I mean, guys, dropshipping is so much deeper than a lot of people even give it credit for. You know, like if you go to a car dealership, right, and they try to sell you a car and that car isn't in the dealership, but they still sell it to you anyway, that is dropshipping, right? So what exactly is dropshipping? It's simply selling a product that you don't hold inventory for, making a sale, and then purchasing that product for a lower price from the manufacturer, and the manufacturer shipping it to the customer directly. And you know, there's a lot of reasons as to why this business model is so incredible, and I'm going to get into a few here. But first off, I'd like to say that Mike and I have done combined over $8 million in sales, and we've never physically seen a product.
Well, I don't think that's true. I know we drove by a house that you made a sale to in your neighborhood. And so
I'm not going to disclose what the product is, but this customer happened to live 2 minutes away from me, and I knew they had the product. So I just happened to drive by and I saw it right there, right in front of their house. But again, I don't want to disclose by any means what the product is.
And really quickly, isn't that kind of just like insane? The fact that, you know, people could sell products that cost thousands of dollars. You know, we've made sales one item that costs $30,000. Like, isn't it kind of mind blowing that you can sell a $30,000 product and not lay eyes on it? Yeah, I know.
We sold a $28,000 item today.
Yeah,
I mean,
we did indeed.
And we sold $11,000 item today, 2 $5,000 items, 1 $6,000 item. So, you know, that leads me into, again, why dropshipping is so amazing is because it allows you to test products without having to spend money on inventory. Now, this might not seem like a big deal, but it really is a huge deal. And here's why. It's because people will spend tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on inventory for products that they literally can't sell. But with drop shipping, you simply copy and paste product listings and then run ads to them. And if you can't make a sale, Mike, how much do we spend in ads before we decide to pull the plug on a product?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on the manufacturer. It usually varies from supplier to supplier. But I would say, once we double, let's say, we make $300 on one sale, I would say around like 600, 700, we'll pull it. And that's also us being, we're not the most conservative guys. When it comes to starting a store, we'll pretty much just put the bids as high as possible. But yeah, continue with what you were saying, Jed.
Yeah. So essentially what I was getting at was that we find products online, right? And then we test them. And worst case scenario, we lose $700-800 if the product never sells. Best case scenario, let's just say the product profits $300. Every time we spend $100, we make a sale. Now we're profitable $200, and then we scale it. So the reason why dropshipping is so amazing and why it provides such a chance for success is that you can literally test the product with the only risk being what you lose in ad spend. Where before dropshipping, the only way to know if a product would sell or not would be to buy literally tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of inventory. So me and Mike, we've been doing this for years, and literally all we do is call suppliers, test the product. If it doesn't make a sale within the first $700-800, we cut it. If it does, which honestly most of the time it does, then we look for ways to increase ad spend, look for ways to change up the ad spend, look for ways to scale. But before I pass this off to Mike, what I'm getting at again is the reason why dropshipping is the best business model and why it worked for us was because, again, we never had to worry about losing a lot of money to make a lot. We don't get attacked. We test the product. If it doesn't make sales, we move on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think just to kind of take it a step further, because I know the first time I heard of dropshipping, I was a sophomore in college. And, I just thought I was instantly mind blown. And then when you kind of go through it and, you do some more research and, for us, we didn't just do research. We went through 3 different types of dropshipping. We started off at eBay dropshipping, which works. You can definitely make money on eBay. You just got to be careful. PayPal is a son of a gun. They'll find a way to screw you over if you spend enough money with them, or money and time with them. Then we did the AliExpress, Facebook dropshipping, which I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this can vouch that if you've tried the AliExpress dropshipping, you probably lost money on it, like we did. And then you find yourself in a position where you come across high ticket dropshipping. And so many people think that there's this insane difference between dropshipping cheap products and dropshipping expensive products. But literally the only difference is the price. And as it sounds very kind of corny to say, oh yes, that's what makes the difference between low ticket and high ticket is the price. But it's really just a completely different system, and I think that's something that we've talked about. We can continue to talk about things like the quality of product, the barrier to entry, Facebook ads in general, which we'll get into the Google ads portion in a little bit. But it's really crazy how when you go $300 down in the hole with Facebook ads, that is gone. But when you go $300 down with a high ticket product, you can make back that ad spend with literally the click of a button. One sale and you have your ad spend back. So, I think really what people need to hone in on is very rarely do we see people go down. We went down $6,000. By the end of it, we were down $10K with Facebook ads. You don't really see people doing that with high ticket ecom, high ticket dropshipping, because the sole fact that one sale can keep you at zero. So while you're continuing to try these new suppliers, most of the time you don't go thousands of dollars in the hole, because usually if you spend that much and you have warm traffic that people, and you're selling products that people are looking for, you're usually able to make a sale. So that's kind of just the next level of it.
Yeah, I think it's really important, guys, to understand that there really is no difference to selling cheap products and expensive products online other than the price. If you list a product, it takes the same amount of time to list the pictures, to list the description, to come up with the title, to create the collections. All of that takes the same amount of time whether the product is $40, $400, or $4,000. So you might as well spend your time on products that can make you hundreds of dollars each. You know, at this point, I have a store that's at literally 45K today. I'll show you guys the sales. And you know, the reason how you get to this point is honestly by creating a gigantic catalog of products that are over hundreds or better yet thousands of dollars. You know, me and Mike, the reason why we're doing so much in sales is because we stuck to the formula. You know, we don't need to keep trying new things. What you need to do is you need to double down on what works. You know, when I first made my drop shipping store, you know, take off, I was looking for different ways to market the products. And then I went to this conference, right? And the most successful speaker of the conference, the one thing he said that really stuck out to me the most was that when you're finding success, instead of trying new things, just go all in on what works. So that day, what I realized was I shouldn't try to market my products any other way. What I should do is I should go all in on Google Ads and go all in on high ticket dropshipping. And that's exactly what I did. At the time that I went to that conference, I think I was doing like 150K in sales a month. And at this point, you know, 400K, 500K is a bad month. So that advice really did go a long way. And, you know, this is very important to anyone watching this video is, you know, if you're finding success, let's just say you're making $2 or $3 grand a month drop shipping using the formula that me and Mike taught, all you need to do to double your income is do exactly what you did one more time. Or if you want to triple your income, do that 2 more times or 3 more times. And that's literally exactly what we did. You know, we literally started. I remember, Mike, when you first started drop shipping or high ticket drop shipping, you know, your store was only profiting $5 grand a month back in October. And now we're profiting, you know, well over 20 to 30 grand a month on that store. So, I mean, you can speak on behalf of that as well. What did you do, Mike, to get from 5K a month to where you are now, which is 25, 30K a month?
Yeah,
Profit.
Yeah, the thing is that, like, and this is something that I was honestly thinking about earlier today is, you know, so many entrepreneurs and business people they'll try to reinvent the wheel. You know, they think that in order to become financially free, they need to think of some, you know, insane, like outrageous idea that's going to make them millions of dollars. When in reality, Jared, like you just said, you need to find a system that is proven to work, find people who have done it, and do is exactly as they say. You know, it's like, as long as nothing drastic has changed since they did it, which, you know, for us, nothing has changed, you know, eventually you stick with it, you'll find it. And, you know, for me, it was the same thing. You know, the same things I was doing when my store was generating $5 grand profit a month to when it was generating 30 grand a month profit. I didn't change anything. I literally found the system. I mastered the system. So I knew exactly what it was I need to do. I got my Google ads in check. I made sure they were running smoothly. When it comes to this business model, the only thing that you can continue to do is find suppliers. All right. So I know we spoke to a couple of clients and they're like, all right, my Google ads are launched. Like, I can finally take a deep breath. Like, while I understand that, like, listen, maybe you were grinding, you got 4 or 5 suppliers up in your ads. Like, I wouldn't say you could take a deep breath. You know, you really can't. You need to be finding new suppliers at all times. And, you know, eventually when you have the system in place and you add that profitable supplier to it, you know, that's when you really get the massive results. And, you know, one of my friends from home, he says consistency wins. He coined the term consistency wins. And I love it so much because, you know, consistency really does win, especially when you combine it with a vehicle that has proven to work for not just 2 people. It's not just me and Jared who've made high ticket dropshipping work. It is a very, very popular business in the world. For some reason, it's not as popular. You know, it's nowhere near as popular as AliExpress dropshipping. But hundreds of thousands of people make a lot of money with high ticket ecom. So imagine you take that system and apply like untouchable consistency to it. At that point, it's just a waiting game. You know, when you're constantly grinding, you're going to take off eventually. It's really just about that patience and consistency. Yeah. And, you know, I guess my last point is don't mistake the thing that's going to make you financially free with the thing that's going to make you wealthy. And so what do I mean by that? You know, I don't think your first successful high ticket dropshipping store will make you wealthy. It very well can. But I think the goal to start off should be financial freedom. If you can get to a point where your high ticket store profits you 10K a month, what can you, then it's up to you. You know, the real entrepreneur will take that 10K a month and turn it into 40K a month. And that's really what you need to be thinking. You don't need to be thinking like, hey, I need the store to make me $100,000 profit every single month. You know, it's really about, it's a game of stepping stones. And I tweeted this out earlier today. You know, the step from going 9 to 5 to financial freedom, where your business, you know, you're full time on your business, that's the biggest step. Every stepping stone after that is not as big, in my opinion, as that first one. Jed, I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you didn't scare anyone by making them think they're not going to get wealthy with this business. Guys, obviously, what I meant to say is that, you know, your first successful business is, you know, once you become successful, that doesn't mean you can, one, take your foot off the gas, and two, that doesn't mean you can just go crazy with that money. You know, me and Mike, right now, you don't really see us flashing Lamborghinis or mansions, which, you know, we do plan on moving into a very nice house very soon. But you don't see us flashing this stuff because we're aware that right now, as two young entrepreneurs, you know, we have a chance to do one of two things with the money we're making. We can use that money and create real generational wealth, you know, millions and millions of dollars in passive income, or we can blow that money on cars and jewelry and other stupid things. So, you know, that's what he was really getting at, was that this business model, honestly, to make 5 and even 10 grand a month profit is not even that, like, it's not even far-fetched anymore. Like, between Mike and I's stores, you know, like, we literally profit collectively between 60 and 80K, and sometimes even more per month. Like, we've seen many stores at this point make 5 and 10K per month profit, and we've seen many people do it. So it's not even like far-fetched or crazy at this point. But what it will require is, one, obviously listening to us, trusting the system, trusting the process, trusting yourself. You know, believing in yourself is key. Like, at this point, if you believe in us, that's great. But do you believe in yourself? Like, that is much more important than believing in us. Then once you do believe in yourself, then you have to be consistent. You know, there's no way to say it. There's only one way to prove it. Like, don't tell me you're confident. Don't tell me you believe. Don't tell me you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Show us. You know, we really don't care about, honestly, anything anyone has to say. What we care about is what people show, what people do. We care about results. You know, I like I said, when I first started, you know, doing all this stuff, I was in a fraternity, and a lot of people kept telling me that they thought I was going to be successful. And it was great to hear. But after a while, I didn't give a crap what they had to say. All I cared about was actually becoming successful, actually making a lot of money. So, you know, the question that I have to you is, one, do you believe in us? Do you believe in our process? And two, do you believe in yourself? Because if you don't, then you're not going to put in the work. You're not going to be consistent. You know, the truth is, guys, here's the thing, right? I was actually having this talk with one of my good friends and business partners today. And what we compared was making money to a video game, right? Think about it like this. If you were playing a video game, like, let's just say a story mode, right? And, you know, you're trying to kill the boss and you keep failing and keep failing. Are you going to quit and just give up on the game? Or are you going to keep trying until you beat the boss and beat the game? You know, video games in that aspect are very similar to business, because truth is, when you call and close your first supplier and run the ads, chances are it's going to fail, right? Chances are you're not going to make money off the first supplier you run ads to. But the question is, are you going to keep learning ads? Are you going to keep closing new suppliers and keep trying until you eventually beat the game?
Yeah, and I love that analogy so much, because, I mean, it's so spot on. You know, imagine the first time we played a video game, or first time we started a business, if we just quit right in the spot. It's just, you know, at that point, it sounds like common sense, but I mean, it's really the truth that I think, and that's another problem that I think is wrong with society, is that we've kind of undervalued winning. And, you know, you always hear that, you know, participation trophies and all of that stuff, which, while I think it's true, you know, I really do think it applies. I mean, not even a matter if I think it applies. I know it applies to business, because, you know, if you are handed everything your entire life, and then, you know, you go and start a business, and trust me, you're going to get slapped in the face really damn hard when you first start your business. And, you know, when you come in with that, oh, I didn't do it, like, I guess I'm just going to quit and try it next time. No matter the business you're in, you're gonna fail. And I know I'm speaking from a high ticket dropshipping perspective where it took me, I want to say 9 months to have my store get to 10K profit a month. Imagine how I felt the first 7 months of, making money. I wasn't losing money. I was making money, but not making nowhere near the money that I really wanted to make. And, I attribute that to one, consistency, like I spoke about before, and two, mindset. Because, like I said, so many people are not built for owning a business. You'll see business owners, and you'll see them talk on whether it's a podcast or a webinar or a YouTube show just like this, and they only talk about how great it is to be financially free and being your own boss, and no one tells you what to do and all this stuff. But all that good stuff is really just the tip of the iceberg. And that's why mental strength is so important to be a business owner, because there's strengths and pressure, and to guys like us, that pressure and stress or whatever, it stinks at times, but it's not even comparable to the benefits. And I think that's something that you need to weigh yourself. Is some people don't handle stress and pressure well. Maybe it's not for them. But if you're someone like us, and the true value of your time, and you understand that to live your most fulfilled life, you can't be trading 5 days of your week for 2, then maybe starting your business is for you, which I think it should be, but I know it's really not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're someone that isn't necessarily the most motivated person, right, then I'm giving you a very good reason as to why you need to take action, right? Here's the thing, guys. When it comes to your business, right, what happens is you have to stay motivated. Like, think about it. With school, you have a teacher, they give you a homework assignment, you have to do it. But with business, you don't have anyone to do that, right? Like, you have to be the enforcer yourself. So you have to motivate yourself to actually get it done, right? And here's the reason why you need to take action as quickly as possible if you're someone that has trouble motivating themselves, is because when you're building the business, right, then it becomes motivation. But once the business is built and the ads are running and the customers are coming, then you don't need to be motivated anymore, because it becomes responsibility. Like, for me and Mike, it doesn't matter if we feel like putting work in, or it doesn't matter if we're motivated, because no matter what, customers are going to call, customers are going to order, customers are going to email us, live chat us, and we have no choice but to be responsible. And people always ask me, like, how do you stay motivated? And honestly, at times I don't. But since I have hundreds of thousands of dollars a month going through my store, I don't have a choice, right? So if you're someone that has trouble staying motivated, the best way to counter that is to take action and put the work in as quickly as possible. Because once the sales are coming, then you literally will not have a choice other than to just be responsible. Like, if you start missing calls, if you start missing customer emails or chats, then it's just going to lead to, bad reviews, chargebacks. It's going to be more of a headache than if you actually deal with the responsibility yourself. So again, if you are having trouble staying motivated or having trouble continuously taking action, then again, take my word of advice. The best way to do it is to just take action as quickly as possible. There's an old saying called "eat that frog," right? And what does "eat that frog" means? It means that essentially what you want to do is the first task of the day, you want it to be the task that you dread the most. It's called "eat that frog" because it's like they said that if you would eat a frog to start the day, then it would make everything else seem easy, right? So all you have to do when you wake up is think about what needs to be done the most. What do you fear the most, right? In life, what you'll learn is that whatever you fear the most is what you need to do. So when you wake up in the morning, that task that you're dreading the most, just do yourself a favor, eat the frog, get through it, and I promise you will see your productivity go up an infinite amount.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything you said was just perfectly, something. What did you say in the beginning that stuck out to me?
Just the responsibility.
The responsibility, exactly. So many people, they think, all right, well, I can't handle that kind of responsibility of being my own boss. But at the same time, they've never really put themselves in the position to take on that kind of responsibility. Like, it's honestly, in my opinion, a cop out to just say, "Oh, I wouldn't be able to handle that." Like, all right, listen, maybe the pressure, all the pressure is understandable, but to say that you can't handle responsibility is really just a cop out. And that comes with putting yourself in those kind of uncomfortable situations. And this is something that we've talked about so many times on and off camera, Jared, is the real importance of putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. And I remember I was on a call with a client the other day, and he was very transparent with me and kind of just said, like, listen, like, I know that I'm making good moves right now, and I'm happy with my progress, but I have to be honest, like, I'm a little scared and I'm a little like uncomfortable. And I honestly, I applauded him for that. Like, so many people, majority of people will do everything that they can to zigzag and avoid those uncomfortable situations. But it really just comes down to, like, how can you expect to grow as a person when you're not putting yourself in a situation to be vulnerable? Be uncomfortable. The second you step out of that comfort zone is the second you really start to grow. Think about, like, the comfort zone as your ceiling. So let's say you grow up to here. You're not going to be able to grow any further unless you push the envelope. And, that's why so many people may think that they're not capable of starting a business. But I know, they maybe they just don't know that they are. And, maybe it's a combination of self-confidence or lack thereof self-confidence or complacency. But sometimes you really don't know until you just throw yourself in that position. I definitely suggest everyone should throw themselves in that position.
I mean, the truth is, Mike, honestly, everyone isn't meant to own their own business. But I mean, if you're watching this, then, that's evidence to us that you honestly do have what it takes. I mean, the people that really don't have what it takes to own their own business are simply just not interested at all. And at that point, just don't even try, because you have to have some sort of interest to actually take the level of action required to be successful. Honestly, in this world, there are so many people that want it so bad that unless you want it so bad yourself, just don't even do it, because you're not going to become successful. Honestly, like, it requires sacrifice. It requires hard work. But the beautiful part is that when it comes to owning your own business, the whole goal, the end goal, is automating it, is systemizing it. The hard work that you're doing right now is not going to be work that you're doing forever. Like, guys, when it comes to owning a business, when you can get it to profit $10K a month, then you can systemize it, which means you can have employees run everything, handle the day-to-day. Like the 45K that I showed you guys today, it was 100% systemized. I have at that specific store is 8 different employees handling the day-to-day operations. I don't have to lift a finger driving that money. 2, you can eventually sell your company. Obviously you can't sell a job, but when it comes to a high-ticket dropshipping business, you can literally sell it for 25 times what it profits a month. So, if you're profiting $10,000 a month, you can pretty much sell that store for $250,000. So, the work you're doing right now is not the work you're going to do forever. There is an end goal, and you got to keep that in mind, guys. That's why starting an online business is so much more worth your time than really any other way to make money.
Yep. No, it was so perfectly said, because it sounds a little almost counterintuitive when you think about it. It's like, all right, I'm giving up all of this time, which the end goal, like Jared said, is to have your time. But certain sacrifices are required to make that happen. And, like I said, the first 5 to 7 months of me starting my first high-ticket dropshipping store, I didn't have a lot of time. I pretty much devoted any and all of my free time I had to my business, because I knew that was what was required for me to really make it. And so, that being said, you have to make sacrifices at some point. And, for a business, it's going to be the beginning. You're going to have to put the time in, you're going to have to put the effort in, because if it was easy, everybody would do it. But, that being said, now anywhere that I have Wi-Fi, I can make money. And another thing that Jared, that I think you may have missed in making those points about, having the system, is when you have the system built and you're making $10K a month, not only do you have the system for that particular store, but you now have the skills the high value skills that at any time you can now duplicate the process and build another store to make you 10K a month, and or maybe another store that makes you 5K profit a month. You know, you have these valuable skills, or maybe you want to start a clothing brand using your Google Ads skills that you learned from your high ticket dropshipping store. Things like, you know, being able to sell your store and being able to have the high income skills are things that, you know, unfortunately you can't really get from a job. You know, like Jared said, you can't sell your position at a company. But, you know, that's why someone owning their business that makes, say, 5K a month is more valuable than someone who makes 7K a month from a job. If that makes sense. I think you kind of know what I'm going thinking.
I mean, what it is, guys, is it's net worth. You know, when you take into net worth account, like think about it, it's not all about the money you have in the bank. It's about your assets. That's what real net worth is. You know, what me and Mike might have in the bank has nothing to do with the fact that our stores are worth, some of them are worth 6 and even 7 figures. You know, so one day, you know, that's what we're planning. You know, right now we're making 20, 30, 40K a month profit from our stores. But realistically, our end goal is not to be drop shippers forever. That leads back to what Mike said in the beginning of this video. Not that drop shipping isn't going to make you wealthy, because it is. It's going to. It has made us very wealthy. But, you know, what right now what we're thinking about is growing these stores to profit, you know, $100,000 a month, and then eventually sell it for, you know, $2, $3, $4, $5 million. So, you know, there's everything you're doing, guys, is for a purpose. You know, the business models. There's a lot of business models online that will force you to create stores that you can't really sell. But when it comes to high ticket drop shipping, it's like some of our stores we've been scaling for 2 to 3 years at this point. Like, these are assets that are going to last potentially forever and that people would want to buy. You know, we have partners that have sold stores for well over $150,000. So, you know, that's one of the many reasons. Another great thing about high ticket drop shipping is that you're not just testing one product at a time, you're testing entire catalogs. So think about it, guys, like one business model might have you test one product at a time. But for us, it's like you close a supplier and that supplier might have 200 products. You run the ads and one of those products might be a freaking bestseller. And that's just think about like the law of averages. The more you test, the better your chance of success. And this, another benefit of this business, let alone the profit margins, is the fact that when you test, you can literally test hundreds of products at a time. And that's the beauty of Google ads, is like with Facebook ads, you have to create this, you know, intense ad copy, this intense video. With us, it's like you literally upload it to the merchant center and you can literally test 100 products at the click of one button. So, you know, it's just another reason as to why this business model, you know, is just such a great business. And that will honestly segue into the next part of the business model, which is the way we market, which is with Google ads. So guys, it's like we're testing hundreds of products at a time, products that profit $300 or more. And then the way we're marketing is we're literally only coming up when people search keywords that show that they intend to buy. So it's like, think about all those combinations. It's like high profit margin, lots of products that you're testing, and the people that are coming to your site have a high likely chance of buying because they literally Googled, let's just say you're selling cabinets for your room. They literally Googled cabinets for sale and found you, as opposed to you finding them. So when you combine all of that together, what you have is a business model that has a great chance of making you successful.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it really comes down to, you know, in this business model compared to, you know, the low ticket game, it's like you're so much more precise with not only your time, not only your money, but your time. And, you know, that kind of just goes back to what you said. You know, when we were doing low ticket, we were spending hours and hours at a time on, you know, ad copy and creating the perfect video. And then, you know, the landing page, you know, we put so much time into the landing page, all that stuff, for it to flop in 3 days and then, you know, move on to the next one and duplicate the process, it's very frustrating. And then when you combine that with how expensive Facebook ads really are, you know, they charge you just to show your ad to people, let alone clicks. So, you know, imagine you spend all that time making the perfect product seem perfect, and then spending all the money on Facebook ads just for you to restart the process. It's very, very annoying. Whereas, like you mentioned, Jared, when it comes to high ticket, you know, we have product listers. So we upload the products. We don't do anything. They just copy and paste from the manufacturer website. And then, we spend the money on Google, which, like, you just mentioned, Jared, and as I mentioned to our students, is the goal is to be as precise as possible with our spending. We combine things like negative keyword lists to make sure that our spending is so precise that we don't waste a penny on searches that have no chance at converting. So I hope that kind of makes sense, Jared. I know it probably makes sense. I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, guys, and whether it makes sense or not, understand that we're teaching exactly how to do it in our program. So if you haven't joined yet, obviously check it out, or the website. We left the link in the description. Check it out. Join our program because we teach exactly how to do it. And when Mike says precise, he means it. And I'll give you guys an example. Mike's current store that I'm partnered in on as well. We've spent $3,800 this month in ads and are at literally $150,000. I mean, those returns, like, literally, there's no business model that's really providing returns like that. I'm telling you guys, we've been around this game for a long time. The big companies aren't even doing stuff like that. That's first of all. Second of all, it's like we're literally, it's almost like we're not even spending anything and we're getting results like that. So the question is, how do you get results like that? One, stick to high margins. We really, that store specifically, we really don't sell anything cheap at all. The few cheap products are so few and far between, and they're really only all accessories, right, Mike, as far as the cheap products on that site?
Yeah, exactly.
So, we don't sell anything cheap other than accessories. That's one. Two, we've been spending money and running ads for how long now, Mike? 9 months, 10 months, 11 months?
No, I think we're at about a year.
Yeah, so we've been spending ads, running ads for over a year on that store now. And what happens, guys, is when you run ads, you find so much data that allows you to spend more in certain aspects and less than others. One thing that's very important for us is what's called the P&L, which is the profit and loss. That's where you know how much you made. And it's very important that you know exactly how much you spent on each supplier and how much you made on each supplier. It's not about knowing how much you spent on the Google Ads as a whole. It's about knowing the suppliers individually, because that is how you will scale to 6 figures a month and more.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's why, you really need to know everything that there is to know about your business. It sounds almost very cliche, but, that's why it's so important to not only know about, the suppliers that you carry and, all that stuff, but, like we're talking things like margins, like exactly what keywords are converting. Things like that will make it so much easier when you know the ins and outs of what people are searching for, whether it's a generic or a branded search. Things like that, when you know the in and outs, it makes it so much easier to scale. So you can go from, say, $40,000 in revenue to $140,000 in revenue or $240,000 in revenue. You're going to have to spend more money on ads for certain suppliers than you will others. But, when you do as much educating as you possibly can, it really makes the process moving forward so much easier.
Yeah, it really is. And, like we said, guys, everything we're saying here in our course, or better yet, course, is, we're giving you guys exactly what we do and have done to get the results we've gotten. And, if you want to know what those results are, it's literally $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 a month. We've even had as much as a $1.1 million month, and the profit is roughly around 10% of that. So it's like, we're giving you guys everything we can give. It just comes down to you doing it. Like I said in the beginning of this live stream, you have to, one, believe in us, but two, more importantly, believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, then you will never put the work in and never take the action necessary to get to the level we've gotten to.
Yeah, no, and something that I used to read back when I was reading heavy self-help was the best way to create that self-confidence is act as if you already have that confidence. Which doesn't really sound like it makes sense, but whatever you think it feels like to make 10K a month from your dropshipping business, feel as though you have the confidence as if You really do, fall in love with the process and the system of it. And, you don't need something that, I've read about so many times. And I definitely feel is you don't need to be passionate about drop shipping. I'm not saying I'm not over exhilarated about the idea of having my own website. I wouldn't call that passionate. But what I am passionate about is the things that I can do with my time, the people that I can help with money that I make moving forward. That is a real passion. What do you love doing in your free time? I feel as though if you can write down what makes you happy, write it down. Whatever makes you happy, whether you like playing sports, whether you like hanging out with your friends or family, the ultimate goal should be to be able to do those things while still making money. And, that's at its core, that's what it means. Every business person says, have your money work for you. That's what it means, is being able to do the things that make you happy while getting paid for it.
Mike, I love that you brought up that fact because it's so true, guys. Neither one of us are profitable, are passionate about drop shipping. We're really passionate about everything that drop shipping can bring. We're passionate about passive income. I said profit. We're passionate about passive income. We're passionate about being able to live life on our terms, about getting rich. Honestly, me and Mike are two guys that really just have strong desires to get rich. And honestly, that's what I was telling someone the other day. It's like, I don't care about drop shipping. I care about having millions of dollars in the bank. But by trying so many different business models, I found that high ticket drop shipping, at least for me, or better yet for us, is the quickest way to get to millions of dollars in the bank. Obviously, we do other things as well. Like we have Instagram. We obviously charge mentorship, YouTube. We do these things for fun. But in the end of the day, like what's actually getting us really wealthy right now is high ticket dropshipping. I bought a real estate property in June, and I literally am fighting a case right now because one of my tenants fell through the freaking floor. Now that house is profiting me, or it's supposed to profit me $800 a month, but it's really profiting me like $200 because one of my tenants is not even paying, and I'm going to evict her. But the point is that we do all these other, all these other ways of passive income. But right now, the way that's actually making us rich is high ticket drop shipping. And then we're just using that money to create other sources of income. Again, we're not passionate about this at all. We're not passionate about any of the products we sell. Now we're passionate about the products that make us money. But for you, if you're starting your business, don't think I have to sell products I'm passionate about. Try to sell products that fit the criteria that we give, which is the high price points and the low competition that we teach in the course. Think about products that fit the criteria. Think about ways that you can develop passive income, which is through high ticket drop shipping. And then once you have the money and the time, then you can live a passionate life. Like guys, there's no better investment right now that I found than investing money in Google ads for high ticket products. I have not found anything better than that. I'm sure there's other ways out there to make money that are great. But as far as I'm concerned, right now in 2020, August 24th, Kobe Day, 8/24, the best way to make money online is to find high ticket products and market them on Google. We literally have, between all our stores, spend over $2,000 every single day passively, and they pretty much make between $4,000 and $6,000. So we literally, without having to touch it, it will just automatically, between our 6 stores, spend $2,000 a day and bring back between $4,000 and $6,000. I don't know anything that's really providing returns like that, but that's what we're doing, and that's what we're getting right now.
Yeah, and it would be one thing if Jared was making these outlandish claims, like there's no other business that gets this ROI. If he had one store, I'd be like, all right, like, if you really felt that, you'd have a couple. But we have, like you said, we have equity in six of these exact stores that that really give us that kind of ROI. And it's really true. That's why we've talked about before, and why e-commerce. So many people say, why'd you choose e-commerce? And I mean, the real truth is that it can combine the two most important aspects that every business should have, and that is being lucrative. It can make you a lot of money, and 2, it doesn't require a lot of time at some point. And we dropped a YouTube video a couple months back about why you need to go online compared to brick and mortar. When you start a physical location, certain businesses will require your attention and your time at all times. And at that point, you're really just creating another job for yourself. So why we love e-commerce so much is the ceiling is, there really is no ceiling. For our business, we only market to the United States. But, certain types of e-commerce, and I'm sure if we really wanted to, we could ship to other countries. We just don't want to get involved in that headache. But, think about it. The ceiling is really invisible. I guess there is a certain ceiling. We've never hit the ceiling. And two, you can automate any or most in all e-commerce stores. And Jared, I don't know if you kind of want to get into that about, how we outsource, I would say 95% of our business.
Yeah, guys, outsourcing is the key, right? Like I have numerous, we have numerous friends and clients that are in a position where they're starting to make consistent sales now. And we have to tell them to outsource because let's just say you're profiting $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, right? An employee from the Philippines is going to cost you between $700 and $800 a month. So at first you might say, wow, that's a lot of my profit. But the reality is that it's really not like that at all. An employee isn't going to cost you $700 to $800 a month, but instead they're going to make you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. A good employee will make you $5,000, even $10K a month profit. And I don't just mean that in the sense where they're going to close sales for you, because they are, but they're going to help you answer emails. They're going to help you answer chat. They're going to pretty much get in between all those spaces that you're missing. Right now I have an employee. Obviously I have over 8 for one of my stores, but one specifically, right? Like he's not the most ideal employee. By no means is he a genius. He's made a lot of mistakes, but over the last 2 days, so Friday and then Monday today, because they don't work on the weekends, he's literally closed like $17,000 in sales, which at 20% profit margins is like, I don't know, I can't do the math right now, but he only cost like $700 to $800 a month. And over the last 2 days, he's made us 3 times that, let alone the rest of the month. So if you're in a position right now where you're seeing success, you're seeing maybe not even consistent sales, but a few sales a week, and you're stressed out, because guys, when it comes to running a business, there's 3 roles, right? There's the entrepreneur, the technician, and the manager. But when you're running the business, you have to fill all 3 roles, and that will become the most stressful situation of your life. So what do? You need to outsource pretty much the management role, and the technician role you don't need to outsource because that's like working on the site, that you do yourself. But you need to outsource the managing the store role so you can go back to being the entrepreneur and growing the store. When I hired my first employee, we were profiting, let's just say 10K a month, and I was hesitant to do it, but within 1 to 2 months of hiring her, we literally pretty much doubled in sales. I have a good friend who was the same exact position. He was literally profiting, let's just say $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And the moment he hired his first employee, the next month his sales literally tripled.
Yeah, and I think that is obviously it's tough to understand that when you're not in that position, but that's the ultimate example of a producer versus a consumer mindset. A consumer will instantly think, oh, wow, like, you're paying your employee, whatever it is, $1,000 a month. You're losing out on $1,000. And, while I understand that thinking because I used to think about that at one point, even aside, like Jared, like you said, aside from the sales that your employees can actually close on the phone, on live chat, via email, think about, now that your time is freed up. And this is something that only, real entrepreneurs will really think like, while yes, we can sit back and enjoy our time, we can watch TV. That's really not what we're in this game for. We're in this game to keep on leveling up. That's also, I would say, the passion of ours is, Jared, like you said, we have very big aspirations. We have ginormous goals for ourselves that, most people probably think we're crazy for thinking about. And, we're not going to reach those goals by hiring an employee at $10K a month and then sitting back and watching Netflix every single day. The next thing to do, and the real reason that an employee is so valuable, is it frees up your time to now expand the business or expand, maybe not even your drop shipping store. Maybe start another business. Some way you're going to spend your time on something that's going to put more money into your pocket. And while them physically being on phone calls and stuff is obviously awesome, them closing sales is awesome. It's really more so about your time and the opportunity cost that comes with having spending time doing nonsense things, and that same goes with your money. We talked about before. Imagine buying, say, a $3,000 Gucci whatever, or a $3,000 Rolex. Like, most people will think, all right, like I'm out $3,000. If you ask me and Jared how much we're out on a $3,000 watch, we're gonna probably tell you $30,000, because we genuinely believe with our knowledge and skills that if you give us $3,000, we can start a business and we can make that tenfold. And that's kind of that's a mindset thing. Mindset has such a weird connotation of self-help. Oh, you need to have a strong mindset, but that mindset shift from producer to consumer is honestly one of the most valuable shifts that will ever occur to you.
Yeah, and I really do consider every dollar that I have, a potential dollar that I can double. So I couldn't agree more with what you said, Mike. But another thing about employees, guys, is if you close a supplier with hundreds or even thousands of products, that's the first time you want to hire an employee, honestly, is to help you list them, because that will only slow down your success. If you try to list thousands of products yourself, you're really just wasting time, guys. I mean, list the first 20, 30, 40, 50, maybe even 100. But once you start getting in the 100, you know it well enough to teach it. So just outsource it for your own sake, because I promise it will speed up your success. And then you can close suppliers at a quicker rate. Now when I close suppliers, I've had suppliers tell me that we've made sales quicker than other suppliers got the products on their site. Like, we literally move so quickly. I have a team that handles it. They list hundreds of products within a few days, thousands of products a week, honestly. And second, when it comes to an employee, is it really does motivate you to just do more. You will feel like you have to do more, because think about it like this. An employee is providing for their family off the income that they get from you. I've had employees literally tell me, like, pretty much, like, they during the pandemic, they pretty much told me they had many friends lose their jobs, and they were just saying how thankful they were to still have their job working for me. And that really does mean a lot to me, because it's like, you forget that these employees are human beings just like you. The same way you're making a full-time living, this is how they're making a full-time living. So I let that type of stuff motivate me, to make sure that I'll always have work for them to do, to make sure that, because at the end of the day, it's not even just about me anymore. It's about all of us. It's about the entire team. And, for me, it's like, I need to make sure that we have the business to support hiring these employees, because the truth is, if the profit slows down, then I'm going to have to, lay people off. But the reality is that as long as I keep the profits up, which, I fulfill my role, which is to keep expanding the company, and as long as they're doing their role, which is to manage the customers, then they'll have a job for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point that you kind of make, is that, it gets to a point where it's just bigger than you, and when I think that's how you're on the right path to thinking big, when, you stop concentrating on, all right, my financial freedom, and then you start focusing on, your employees' well-being, the well-being of your current family. Maybe you want to take care of your family like we do. Maybe the family that you don't even have yet. My wife and kids and grandkids and great-grandkids, that's who I'm thinking about providing for. That is the kind of wealth that we're trying to build, and that's the ultimate definition of generational wealth. When I'm thinking about, I don't want my grandkids to ever have to struggle, and I want them to be well off, like, that takes a certain level of higher thinking that, listen, I haven't accomplished enough to probably feel that way, but it really just comes back to the mindset is, you can't reach that high level without really thinking that it's possible to achieve. And I know one of the first entrepreneur YouTube videos that Jared showed me sophomore year, he showed me two. One was a Les Brown that I always quote, and I will quote to the time. Another one was a Tony Robbins video. And he talks about the first time. someone ran a 4-minute mile. And I've only seen the video like 4 times, but I still pretty much vividly remember it. And he said, the first person to run a 4-minute mile, his name was Roger Bannister. And I think it was like in the 1950s, I could have the date wrong, but the entire time that people were running track, which was hundreds and thousands of years before that, no one ever did it. And after he did it, the next year, almost 100 people ran a 4-minute mile. Now, why is that? Because now people conceived it as possible. So what the point that I'm trying to get at here is, you need to kind of raise your standards of what is possible for yourself before you can actually achieve it. And I think, once people realized that running a 4-minute mile was possible, they actually were able to do it. So, some of my biggest advice to people who want to get into owning a business is, don't just think about it as, all right, I can make $5,000 a month, I can be financially free. Like, I would say just shoot for as big as you can think. And, if you fall short of ginormous, you're probably still well off.
Yeah. There's actually 2 things I have to say in regards to that. And that was a great story, and that was exactly how Tony told it. But the first thing I have to say about that, guys, is you set big goals for yourself, because it's not even about achieving that goal. It's about everything in between you achieving that goal, right? So let's just say you're making $0 a month. If your goal is to make $100,000 a month, I mean, one, I'm sure you'll hit it within a 5-year span, but it's not even about that. It's about the fact that you're not going to stay at 0 forever. One day you're going to hit 1,000 a month, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30. And that's the point, right? It's not just about achieving your ultimate goal. It's about the fact that everything in between you and achieving that goal will just be you being closer to that goal. That's the way your subconscious works. The law of attraction is that whatever you dwell on and work toward, you will attract. So if your goal is to make $100,000 a month profit, and you're working toward that every day, and you're dwelling on it every day, what you will do is you will attract it. That's first of all. Second of all, that I was going to mention on what Mikey said, was this is why you want to surround yourself with people doing better than you, was because if you don't have anyone doing better than you, then what you will do is you will consider yourself the standard, and then you will stop growing. At this point, I'm always talking to people doing better than me. I have mentors that are still doing better than me. Me and Mike are always talking to each other, pushing each other to the next level. I have clients that are doing really well, or students, better yet, that are doing really well, that are pushing me to the next level. And the truth is that the moment I stop hanging around people that are such high level, I start considering myself the standard, and I start getting complacent. But the more you're around people doing much better than you, then you're like, oh crap, the bar is being set high. I need to get to work. So, those are my 2 cents on it when it comes to goals. Are 1, focus on the fact that everything in between you and achieving that goal will lead to a better life. And 2, surround yourself with people doing better than you. That's why me and Mike are so strong on the fact that if you're watching this and you're trying to get started in drop shipping, the best thing you can do is join our program, because to hang around guys like us, to talk to guys like us that can mentor you, that are doing so well, I mean, as you can imagine, what you think it will probably do for you.
Yeah, and I love that second point, because I'm sure everybody is sick of the word mindset after this video, but it's so easy to be around guys like Jared and like myself, and almost feel, I've been in a situation where when Jared was financially free, let's say there was a group of people, of 5 people, 4 of those 5 people would be envious of Jared. They'd be like, oh, like he thinks he's all that, like he makes money and he's financially free, all this stuff. And it really does happen. And then you'll have the one person like me who, instead of choosing to feel envious or jealousy, whatever negative feeling that you may feel by someone, get inspired by it, and that's why I think it's also very important. Something that I talk about a lot is, when you see a successful person, you can't put them on a pedestal and be like, oh my God, whatever it is, they got so lucky, or maybe they're the best entrepreneur ever, so that's why they're there. Like, you can't put people on a pedestal. You need to feel as though, you got to get inspired by it. You can be like, wow, that's actually very attainable for me. And that's why I think Jared and I, or at least I hope we come across as very relatable, because, we graduated college almost about a year ago, a little over a year ago, last 2 Mays ago. We weren't the smartest guys. We were both. I was a communication major. He was a mass communication major. We weren't 4.0 students. We were never the smartest people in the world, but we had certain ideals that we pursued, and we were able to become relatively. Although I wouldn't call us as successful as where we want to be. We're on a serious path to becoming successful, and it's a combination of a lot of things of mindset of setting those high goals for ourselves, having strong whys. But at the end of the day, my entire point is choose inspiration instead of jealousy. Because, when you have when you feel jealous and when you kind of wish for negative things on people, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. That kind of perspective on things is never really healthy.
Yeah. I mean, the quickest way to make money, quote, spread its wings and fly away from you, is with envy. And that is not me. That's actually from The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. One of the best books you'll ever read. And guys, when I recommend a book, the 2 books I really recommend are The Power of Your Subconscious and The Science Getting Rich, and of course my book. But when I recommend a book, I recommend that you read it over and over and over again, because what they say is that you don't learn something new about the book, you learn something new about yourself. Now, obviously, a phrase like that can only be used for specific books. And those 2 books are the 2 that I recommend the most, which is, again, The Science Getting Rich and The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. If you listen to that book or read it over and over again, I promise every single time you will learn something new about yourself. I have listened to both of those books pretty much every single day over the last 3 years. I got a funny story. Well, not even that funny. Was when my first business failed, which was eBay dropshipping, and I went deep into debt. I remember I was so depressed. I remember I was taking the bus home from college, and it was a 4-hour bus ride. And I remember just looking out the window, depressed, and I had The Power of Your Subconscious Mind with me. And I remember that I was literally in such a bad state in life that I didn't know what to turn to, because I kept reading those books, and all it did was get me in debt. But instead of giving up on it, I pretty much was like, look, I've been following these theories. I've been believing in them. I've been living them. And now that it's failing, now's not the time to give up. Now's the time to really go in. So at that moment, I literally told myself, I was like, I'm going to do everything this book says. I'm going to practice every affirmation. I'm going to do it all. And it's either going to really work for me, or honestly, I didn't even think there was any chance it wouldn't. I just literally told myself, I'm going to put everything into this book until I die, and I'm sure it's going to work out. And within 1 year, I was able to get out of debt. And within 2 years, I was 100% financially free. And now 3 years later, I'm honestly doing better than I would have thought I would be doing at this point. And as I know Mike likes to say that we're, quote, not wealthy. And the only reason he says that is because we have such high standards for ourselves. Our goal was always to make $1 million a year each. And, right now we're making, 200-300K a year each. But we really, we have such high standards, such high goals. So, when he says that, I'm just clarifying again, because I don't want anyone watching this to get scared. Right now we're guys that are making 30-40K a month, but ultimately we want to be tripling that over the next year.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, because, like I said, I guess our definition, this is a pretty funny thing that happens to me more frequently than I would like to admit, is someone, I'll be having a conversation to someone, they'll be like, oh yeah, like that costs a lot of money. And it sounds, I don't want it to sound scummy, but my response is, what's your definition of a lot of money? it's really true. Someone would be like, oh yeah, this thing costs like $200, like way too much money. And I'm like, I don't say anything to them like, oh, that's not a lot of money. That just sounds like very arrogant. But in my mind, I'm like, I think that's almost the fundamental reason that people maybe they struggle financially, because they don't really think, they don't open their mind to, what really a lot of money is. You see guys like, like the most typical entrepreneurs that you see out there, the Elon Musk, the Jeff Bezos. And again, it really comes down to everyone puts them on a pedestal and all this stuff. They think they're like the craziest guys in the world, when in reality, you have to be thinking the opposite. Not only do I don't put these people on a pedestal, I think I'm on the same level as them. And, this is something that me and Jared talked about all the time, where it's like, you know, I remember when we were in college, we'd be like, oh yeah, like, you know, if we ever met Drake, we would just, it'd have to be casual. You know, you'd be like, oh, what's good, bro? Like,
You wouldn't want to hang out with a fanboy.
yeah, you don't want to hang out with fanboy. You know, we're just like, oh, like, what's good, bro? Like, what's up with you? I haven't seen you in a while. Like, that's what I mean by putting it on the same. Like, maybe he thinks that I'm not on the same level, which, you know, we're not. It's not, we're close, but, you know, in my mind, you know, I don't see people like that as that much smarter or that much better than I am.
Yeah. And I mean, the truth is, you know, we are doing better than a lot of billionaires we're doing at our age. Not to say that we're going to become a billionaire. I mean, it is honestly a lifetime goal of mine. But there are guys, I mean, I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos wasn't really that wealthy until his late 20s, early 30s.
I think mid 30s, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Grant Cardone was a drug addict by the time he was 25. He didn't figure it out until after. So, I mean, if you're watching this and you're young, you know, understand that time is in your favor. And the only way to get time in your favor is to develop good habits. You know, one thing I've learned about life is that the compound effect is the realest thing of all time. And when you develop good habits, you see the compound work in your life. If it's working out, right? You work out once for 8 hours, that's not going to do much. But if you work out 1 hour a day for 8 months, now you're going to see some results. Same thing with business. Working 1 day for 8 hours won't do anything. But if you work a few hours every day for 8 months, you might be making $5,000 a month profit or $10,000 a month profit with the right system. There's a lot of business models out there, guys, that aren't going to lead you down the path that we're going to lead you. And, you know, I can honestly say that because I've been there. You know, me and Mike have tried so many different businesses. And yes, like we said, there are other business models that work. But, I mean, we can honestly say that this is one that works, and it works really well. And it works really well today. You know, it's not like it's something that you missed the boat on. It's like, now's the time to really do it. And it's like, don't even, like, if you're seeing the results that we're getting, I promise you, a year from now, we're going to be doing much better than we are right now, which is just another reason why, you know, if you're considering starting, now's the time.
Yeah, that's so true. And, you know, that's kind of why we love the community aspect of the program. You know, I was on a call with a client earlier today, and, you know, he really said that so many other types of programs, especially, you know, he was referring to the low ticket programs that he was in. It's very like, you know, people communicate, but there's this like very competitive animosity in the air. And this is his words, not mine. And, you know, then he compared it to what we have. And, you know, obviously when people are in the same exact business model, technically, you know, they could be closing the same suppliers and they could be competing. But, you know, when you take the kind of mindset, you know, all of our, every time we have a member who joins our program, we really urge them, we create a mindset. We call it a mindset module. And, you know, we urge every single person who joins the program to watch the mindset portion of our course because, you know, we have, I think I'm a living proof of how strong mindset is, you know, failing so many times, losing so much money and then continuing on. I think mindset is just as important as the actual action itself. But yeah, just getting back to what I was saying is that, you know, he made the point that this community is, you can tell that people genuinely care about their peers' success. You know, like, I love that. Gotta love ka-ching. Anytime someone posts like a sales screenshot, like you just heard, what's to follow is everyone getting inspired, everyone giving congrats, and I think that's an awesome thing. You know, it's such, like I said, it's almost human nature where if people are working in the same business and someone makes their first sale and you haven't, you want to be like, oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so angry. Meanwhile, we have people who are like, awesome stuff. Like, I'm so inspired. Like, I got to get grinding. And like that type of atmosphere, I think is so powerful. And, you know, I definitely, like Jared, you mentioned it before, like the importance of surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded. You know, in terms of physical location, it's not easy to surround yourself with people who are into owning a business, who are into entrepreneurship. And that's why, you know, if you can do it via a group chat or via a Zoom call, that's the next best thing. And, you know, I think that, you know, surrounding yourself with that kind of high level thinkers and action takers will ultimately grow your net worth.
Yeah. And, you know, guys, two things to, you know, talk about what Mike said. You know, first of all, you know, for those who were in the video, obviously in the beginning, I showed my sales. It was at 45K. Now I'll show it again. Look at this, guys. Like throughout this live stream, you guys have been watching me. Like literally all I've done is talk, right? We haven't done any work throughout this live stream, but as you can see, we've made money throughout it. I mean, if you were here in the beginning, again, you saw 45,000. Now it's at almost 47. So that, that says a lot, one, about what we're teaching, right? That you can make money regardless of what you're doing. Two, the reason why the mindset is so important, right? It's like I had this debate with my mentors, actually. They used to be, not that they were anti-mindset people, but they weren't as big into the mindset as I was, right? And what made them change their mind was the people like Mike, or better yet, the people that took, their program under my umbrella were all very heavy mindset people, because I'm a heavy mindset guy. So I taught the mindset to anyone that learned under me. And now all of their most successful students are myself, Mike, and the other people that learned the mindset under me. So it just goes to show that the people that really understand the mindset, regardless of the business model, are the most successful. And obviously, if you're watching this and haven't joined our program yet, I highly encourage you to join, because for the price that we're charging, you're going to get your tenfold in just the mindset course alone. Our mindset course will ultimately set you up for success for the rest of your life. If you just rewatch those videos over and over again and applied those principles to any business model, or better yet, apply those to high ticket dropshipping like we did, then you can ultimately be making, honestly, I would say a number, but the number is truly infinite. You can be making any amount of money you desire if you apply the mindset principles we teach in our program. So again, if you're watching this and you're considering joining, I highly recommend it, because just the mindset course alone, I can pretty much guarantee will give you your money's worth. Obviously, I can't guarantee it. I can pretty much guarantee it. And the only reason why I can't guarantee it is because you need to act on it. And that I can't guarantee. I can guarantee you the information there works, because me and Mike have made it work many times. But I can't guarantee it will work for you, because you need to put the work in. I can't do that for you. That's the only thing me and Mike can't do for you. We can answer any question. Our course can guide you every step of the way. But the only thing we can't do for you is put the work in.
Yeah, and I love that, so many times when I'm talking to potential people who want to join the program, they're like, their number one question usually is, how long does it take to make money in this business? And it's such like a irrational question, because obviously it depends on the person. Like if you grind your ass off, you're going to make it much quicker than if you slack. And, that's why it's really impossible to give a number, because at the end of the day, like Jared, like you just said, we're going to give you every ounce of information that we have. We're going to give you everything that we know about the business. We're going to give. It really comes down to you. And I know you mentioned how great our mindset course is, and not to gas us up, but I do love the mindset portion, because we are obviously mindset guys. And I remember when Jared's first business started taking off, and I was obviously still in college. I didn't have enough money to start my own business. Jared, I'm sure you remember it. You mentioned the idea of starting a business with me, and
Yep.
Before Jared, he mentioned it briefly, but his number one thing that he needed to get across was, you need to have your mindset in action. He gave me a book. He gave me The Science of Getting Rich. He's like, you need to read this book not once, but at least twice, and you need to understand the principles in this book. And that book that he gave me, The Science of Getting Rich, it's a short read. I recommend it to everybody. And it kind of laid the foundation of my mindset. And after that point, I kind of just became in love with the whole mindset, wealth building, self-help kind of ideal, because you can either think it's all BS, or you can take the information and run with it like I did. And at the end of the day, the most skeptical people who are like, I always try to explain what exactly our business model is to people. I'll spend 20 minutes explaining high ticket dropshipping, and they'll pause for like 10 seconds and they'll be like, so it's a pyramid scheme. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, I took the time to explain this business, and you're going to come back and call it a pyramid scheme? Like, those kind of people who are, like I said, skeptical, they're unsure, they call everything a scam. While you do need to weed out the good and the bad businesses. Be a judge of character. If someone looks like they're hiding something, maybe you don't trust them. And I hope that we come across as transparent, because we really don't have anything to hide, and that's why we don't hide anything.
Yeah. And if you're not into the whole mindset thing, then probably business isn't for you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if you can be successful somehow without practicing the proper mindset tactics, then imagine how successful you can be. I know someone very close to me, actually, a family member, who is very, very successful, but likes to, make fun of the mindset tactics. And I just don't even, I try to explain to him, like, dude, you're doing well without it. Imagine how well you can be doing with it. So, obviously, again, even if you're successful without practicing the proper mindset techniques, that doesn't mean you're right. I promise you, the mindset techniques are the way to go in any business. So I guess before we wrap this up, we can start answering questions. So I'm looking at the live chat now. We got Vershawn printing money. Hell yeah, man. As you saw throughout just this live stream, we've been printing money. Sports Mafia, what's your top 5 books y'all recommend reading? I guess, Mike, if you want me to go first, I'll go first.
I got my bookshelf right up here. Yeah, you go first.
Honestly, it's hard for me to say the top 5 off the top of my head. I'll start with 1, Have More Than Money by Jared Oakes. Number 2, Science Getting Rich. Number 3, Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Number 4, Power of Positive Thinking. And number 5, honestly, it's hard for me to say, but off the top of my head, I'm going to say Work Less, Make More by James Schramko.
Yeah, and for me, I would say 1, obviously, Have More Than Money by the one and only Jared Oakes, without a doubt. Which you could find for free on our website at havemorethanmoney.com, in case you're not sure of where to find that.
Link is in the description.
Link is in the description. In no particular order, I'm going to say, obviously Have More Than Money. The Science of Getting Rich, without a doubt. I think every person who's interested in entrepreneurship needs to read The Millionaire Fast Lane.
Great one.
My personal favorite books. I think The Compound Effect is a really, really great book that I think a lot of people that you need to read. And the last one, I can go either, self-help more, or like positive thinking, like The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, or Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is obviously very much more knowledge that you can apply to your finances.
Yeah, great list. So I see a great question here, which is from Nick. He said, when you first started, did you keep your family and friends updated and involved, or did you just keep your progress private? Now, that's a great question, Nick, and I think a lot of people struggle with this, because the truth is they think their friends and family care more than they actually do. So what I would say is to definitely keep them updated, but only to a minor extent. They're not going to understand anyway. So most of the time when you talk, it's just going to go in one ear and out the other. But, keep them updated with big things that happen. But don't update them with every little thing, because 1, they don't know what you're talking about, and 2, they don't care. But, when you have the site up, when you close your first supplier, you close your first sale, the accolades, the accomplishments, keep them updated with that. But everything else in between, I would say just keep to yourself, or, message me and Mike, or message the group me. Message people that are actually going to know what you're talking about. Don't waste your time with people that will literally have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, it is a great question. There's the famous quote, don't tell people about your problems. 80% don't care, and 20% are glad you have them. Obviously this is more, you're asking more about the business. My friends didn't really know a whole lot until I actually was making money, which, I'm more of a low key kind of person. I don't like, in terms of my business, I'm very outgoing and I'm friendly to people, but when it comes to my business, I'm definitely more of a listener than a talker. When it comes to my family is very, very supportive, very loving. My mom she knows it pisses me off, but she needs to ask me every single day, how much money did we make today? And, she says it obviously in a very loving way, because, she was saying this even before I was making sales. She's like, oh, any sales? And, now it's kind of like a running joke in my family. But I think overall it's better just to stay kind of low key and, let your actions speak for you. Eventually there'll come a time where you don't even need to talk, your presence enough will kind of do the talking for you.
Yeah, exactly. I see. Let's see, young Jared, money. Let's get this cheddar. How much do you think I'd need to start high ticket drop shipping? So, and to answer that question, very simple: 1,500 to 2,500 is more than enough. How much time do you recommend to invest in daily to be able to be successful with this? Again, simple answer: 1 to 2 hours daily, more than enough. Honestly, 4 to 6 hours. What'd you say, Mike?
No, you go first.
I was gonna say 4 to 6 hours a week when you're building your store is more than enough. The key is to be consistent. The key is to not do it once and then give up, but the key is to actually work 4 to 6 hours weekly. Of course, if you work more, you'll see results quicker, but that's really all you need to do.
Yeah, no, that's what I was just gonna say. You know, you can get away with having your store, working 4 to 6 hours a week, but at the same time, if you want to accelerate that process, it's kind of common sense. You're gonna have to grind your ass off. We have a student who, she works 9 to 5, and she's a damn hustler, and I love her so much for it. She obviously works, like I said, 9 to 5. She gets an hour lunch break. On that hour lunch break, she's calling suppliers. Then she gets home at like 5:36. She eats, then immediately starts finding new suppliers. She starts checking her ads, and then she goes to sleep and repeats the process. That kind of hustle it's hard to come by, and that's why when I see people like that who really want it that bad, they're giving up their lunch break by calling suppliers, and they're giving their business every free time second that they have. That's a sign that someone wants it pretty damn bad.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, really, the more time you put in, the better, the quicker you'll see results. There's no other way to put it. But again, you don't need to put in more than what we just said. But again, if you want to see results as quickly as possible, treat it like it's a 9 to 5. Honestly, work 8 hours a day on your dropshipping business. I have a friend who he recently quit his job to become a full-time dropshipper. And I told him, I said, look, just take your work schedule and make that your dropship schedule, and I guarantee you'll be making 10 grand a month or more before you know it. Nick Renner, I love our group compared to other free groups that I joined before. Awesome. I love to hear that. I know Mike does too.
I love it.
We love that, honestly. Kevin Sanchez, partnership versus mentorship. I mean, if you're going to ask us, obviously we're going to say the partnership. People that, just to put it simply, guys, when you invest more into us, we'll invest more into you. And you'll invest more into your business. What we find is that the people that join the partnership, one, they get more calls with us, which obviously go a long way. But two, they just take it more seriously, which in my opinion is the most important. If you put $3K down, or if you put $1K down to join our course, which comes with 4 calls, you're gonna take it more seriously than someone that's only paying $97 a month, because you're gonna feel like you need to get your money's worth. So, if you're going to ask me, I'm going to say the partnership, Mike.
No, absolutely. I mean, like Jared just said, when you lay more out on the line as opposed to, I definitely think our $97 a month plan gives way more value than $100 a month. But, like I said, the most successful students that we see, or actually that we have, did the partnership just because, they care more about it. It's much easier to put down $100 a month and kind of, forget about the business. And, that's why I try to keep the group me lively sometimes, because I think people need to be held accountable to some certain degree. And, when you put that $3K down, and, there's a different level of accountability that you hold to yourself, or at least, we hope that you hold yourself to.
Yeah. And I mean, we have $97 a month students making 10 grand a month. Actually, one of them just tweeted that he made 40 grand in the last 2 months following our program. And he's literally on the 97 a month program. So, I mean, that alone makes you realize it's worth way more than 97 a month. And if you plan on joining, and you're going to join for 1 month and quit, I promise you're not going to become successful that way. If you want to become successful, then just plan on joining and treat it like a gym membership. You're not going to see results with a gym membership if you cancel your subscription every month. Join. Keep the subscription until that 97 a month is making you thousands a month. And then you won't mind paying it for the rest of your life, because, it's making you thousands a month. So, like I said, if you plan on joining and plan on quitting, or you just want to get your feet wet, again, treat it like a gym membership, and you're not going to see results by canceling your membership every month. Tisaguchi, how many monthly searches in a niche would you estimate can get you to 10K month profit? I mean, Mike, do you ever really look at monthly searches? I really don't.
In the beginning, I thought it was, some crazy stat. I'd research, the Google Trends. I don't really look at the Google Trends and Google searches anymore. What I would look at to decide on a niche is the amount of suppliers that you can find in a niche. Like, you don't want to name your store after a niche that has 20 to 30 suppliers because, the ceiling of the store is right in front of you. Whereas if you do something that's, very broad and you can go down so many different avenues, you can, there's really no ceiling. There's a lot of niches in one niche. So I would say look at more so the suppliers than the Google searches per se.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's 100% what we do. We don't really look at niches. We look at like I like to say departments of stores like Walmart and Wayfair. And we pretty much just look for all the suppliers in the niche, as opposed to naming your store, lights and fans, we'll name it after the home, as opposed to naming it, treadmills, we'll name it after the gym, stuff like that, stuff that's really evergreen, where you have thousands of potential suppliers to call and, there's really no cap.
No cap, never.
But yeah, again, that's really all we do. And then we really just look for suppliers that, have products over $1,000 and low competition. There's really not much else to it. Anything else is overthinking. We're action takers. We're not overthinkers. So the last question that we have here is, would you post your live store on like your Facebook or friends? Maybe you can get support, or could negative things come from that? Never do this. There's really nothing beneficial about posting your store to your Facebook friends. They're not going to make sales. I mean, they're not going to buy it. The people that are looking to buy the products will find you on Google. The people that are friends with you on Facebook are not going to buy your products. Mm-hmm. Nothing's going to really come out of it. I wouldn't even share. I would share my store with maybe my close friends. But that's it. I really wouldn't be sharing my store everywhere. Like I said, the people on your Facebook are not going to buy it. I guarantee you. Maybe you'll get one sale, but it's still not worth it.
Thing is, yeah, I know it. I mean, I understand your thinking, Nick. You would think, let me make a couple extra sales, maybe build some momentum. And, my mom, both my parents at the beginning were like, oh, let me send your website link to my friends and all this stuff. At the end of the day, we're looking to build a sustainable e-commerce store. And so, let's say let's say 20 of your mom's friends buy somehow, and, you make, $5,000. Like, while that is very unrealistic to do so, because, we're selling very high top of the line items, it's not sustainable. The ultimate goal of making 10K in a month is not to make it once to be like, yeah, I made it. Like, I'm going back to zero next month. Is, like we said, you're building a system that'll make you passive income over time and that you can eventually sell. And, a couple sales from friends and family, while you appreciate the support, it's not going to work towards that sustainability.
Yeah. And honestly, I've had people that I thought were my friends that knew I was successful copy my store. So again, you're better off just keeping your store private, and then if anything, posting your results and trying to inspire your friends and family that way without ever showing your store. Because again, it can lead to people trying to copy you if they know you're successful. Mm-hmm. Kevin Sanchez, what if I want to create like 3 or 4 stores like you guys after some time, of course? Could we still make that a partnership? So Kevin, of course we can, but don't worry about making 3 to 4 stores. Just worry about making 1 store with us and then, profiting 10K a month. And then, we can make other stores when the time comes. But honestly, we don't really like to make new stores anymore because, we like to do general stores that can sell anything at this point. So that would be my advice to you, would be if you do decide to join the partnership, we'll make 1 store that can be like the next Walmart that can pretty much sell anything. And then you don't have to make numerous stores. You can just keep growing that 1 store. So, don't worry about making 3 or 4 stores in the future. I would say worry about joining and, let us help you make 10K a month, off 1 store. And then we'll figure it out from there. I like where your head's at, but, you're definitely thinking a little too far in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And like we said before, you want to learn the system and the process as perfectly as you can. And, when your attention is strung out between numerous stores, it it really just kind of creates for a headache. So that's why it's best to master the system, master the process, and then when you have it down and you have your first store automated or semi-automated, go out and start another one. You know, it's tough when you try to have multiple ventures at a time.
Yeah, exactly. So the last question before we wrap this up, how much does MAP price play into your success? Are your most successful stores having MAP price or not? Simple answer is it's very important. We have suppliers that we work with that make money that don't have MAP, but you really can't rely on them. I mean, most of the time when a supplier doesn't have MAP, you'll make some money for a little bit, and then someone will undercut you, and then you'll stop making money, or unless you undercut them, and then it's just a fast race to the bottom. But yeah, again, the best relationships with suppliers that have made me hundreds of thousands of dollars profit and millions of dollars in sale pretty much all have MAP. So if you want to build a long-term sustainable business like we have, it's going to require working with suppliers that offer MAP.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but we're coming back to sustainability. If you really want to build that sustainability and that consistency of a profitable store, MAP is kind of ideal because we always say suppliers aren't going anywhere. If you find a winning supplier, they're not going to just shut down. People are buying their stuff a lot, they're not going anywhere. But what can happen when there's no MAP is that constant undercutting, and that's when a supplier may not leave you, but you'll get to a point where you don't want to sell that supplier because why would you spend $300 to $400 advertising for them if one sale only makes you $100 to $200? And that's why I've even had successful, profitable suppliers. I've even pitched to them enforcing a MAP policy, which is one of the tougher things that you'll have to do is try to tell a supplier why they need to enforce a MAP, because at the end of the day, in their eyes, they're just making more money if the products are sold cheaper. It's honestly more of a principle thing. Like, all right, like let's give our retailers, let's give them some respect, and let's level the playing field. So yeah, I would say MAP is very important. I see Nick said he's dead. LOL. I'm glad you got a kick out of it, Nick. Kevin Sanchez, thank you guys. Shout out Sean who put me on to you guys. Sean's the man. We love him too, so I'm glad he's spreading the word.
Kevin, we hope to see you in the program, man. We'd be happy to partner with you or be your mentor. Again, for anyone watching this, if you want to work with us, get mentored by us, partner with us, check out the links in the description, havemorethanmoney.com. If you want to read what me and Mike's favorite book is, again, check out the link, havemorethanmoney.com. But again, guys, if you are serious about drop shipping, if you want to learn how to make $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month profit drop shipping, then it's in your best interest to join our program at havemorethanmoney.com. Link in the description. And yeah, that's all for now, right, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, as usual, for those of you who were with us this entire time, the whole 92 minutes, obviously, we love you, we appreciate you. If you guys like the video, swing us a like. If you guys want to see us talk about something else in a future live stream or a future video, feel free to drop a comment below. We, as you guys can tell, we love helping people, we love informing people. So let us know if there's something you want to learn about, and yeah, I mean, we'll catch you guys next time.
Make sure you actually end the stream this time.